Hey, you wanna hear some more childhood trauma? Welcome back to InfoDump, the closest thing I'll ever get to affordable therapy. Today we'll be talking about even more bone-rattling video game memories that have imprinted in my mind forever until the end of time. I'm gonna split everything into two categories. Kids games that were either really stressful or extremely depressing, or both. And for the second category, adult games that I should not have had access to. Also, for clarification's sake, in retrospect, some of these are going to be really silly, but this is coming from the memories of a little dumb, stinky child, so keep that in mind, please. I'm going to start off this video with a core memory that I think any child growing up with a computer from the early 2000s could relate to. If you once experienced the frail mortality of owning sea monkeys as a child, then The Sims is a series that can bring that exact same experience by showing you the many fun ways that you and your personalized loved ones could die in real life. First two Sims games, outside of having probably the best music you'll ever hear in a video game, have a visual aesthetic that can best be described as feeling very melancholic and eerie. This can be juxtaposed by some of the scarier things that you can experience while playing the game. One of my earliest Sims memories is my older sister borrowing a friend's copy, which still transfers the previous save file onto your computer. And at some point after loading the game, one of the Sims started a fire, as we all watched as the Sims panicked on the spot, continuing to do nothing about it and die screaming. The AI is really stupid. Now, if that was bad enough, after your Sims die, there is a chance that they'll come back at night, roaming around and haunting you while a scary ambient sound plays, causing fright to any relative that is still alive to tell the tale. This was very distressing as a child. Also, shout out to the random event where your Sims can get robbed. The music that plays during that event definitely fueled the fear of being alone at home as a child. Speaking of getting robbed, this is going to be a short honorable mention, but back in 2007, before the Toys of Life genre blew up, the toy line Mattel had a kids MMO called UB Funkies. I still have my little fella and it makes me very happy. While playing the game, there is a chance encounter that these skibidi toilet looking henchmen fellas will chase you down and steal your money, while really intimidating music plays. I wouldn't call this scary, but it was definitely very spooky. This was an excuse for me to mention UB Funkies, thank you. Drawn to Life is a DS game that lets you draw your own character and create different elements in-game. It's developed by the studio that made Scribblenauts, and its entire presentation is very cute and I loved every second of it. The second game begins with a very vague sequence quizzing you about an unknown day as wind can be heard blowing in the background. The game never mentions this again and continues on as you play a bunch of fun levels drawing and being creative in a town full of fuzzy creatures. The story is a little dark with some twists and turns, but nothing crazy, and after feeding the big bad guy, everyone gathers around and fades away as the screen cuts to black. The human character, Mike, is left in a white void with another character named Heather, as the dialogue from the beginning of the game comes back confirming that the character Mike was in a coma the whole time. The credits play showing you imagery of a family getting into a car crash on a rainy night, heavily implying that the parents are dead as Mike wakes up from a coma in a hospital with the real Heather, revealing that it was all a coma-induced dream. Fun fact, in the 2020 sequel that looks like dog water, it confirms that yes, their parents are actually dead. I remember being so invested in the story, and this ending was so out of left field. I can't even describe any particular feelings I had when this played out. I was just kind of shocked by how crazy it was. It shouldn't be a big surprise, but the scene was later cut in a re-release of the two games for obvious reasons. I'm gonna do a brief content warning. This part of the video contains sad stuff regarding dogs, so if you can't handle any sad animal stuff, even fictional, I recommend that you skip this segment and click on the next timestamp. Okay, we're good? Okay, thank you. The Dog Island is a PS2 game that has made a small cult following online throughout the past decade, and for very valid reasons. This is the part where I have to do a big sad lore dump. The game starts off letting you pick whatever dog breed you want, teaching you its mechanic of sniffing, and after the tutorial, your pup is allowed to go to the night festival, as your little sister is forced to stay home as she's unwell. Shooting stars are a sign that trouble is coming. I hope nothing bad happens. After that, your little sister breaks out of the house for the festival, and you let her stay, watching as you enter the contest, winning her some flowers. The little sister jumps around in excitement, only to slowly collapse onto the ground. After getting the doctor to check in on her, you're told that she has a rare and unknown illness. You're recommended to see a dog by the name Dr. Poten on the Dog Island, and your pup decides to volunteer to find them despite your mother's dismay. Eventually, you leave on a ship saying goodbye to your hometown, and after doing some chores and some fishing, a storm comes, making the captain have to turn the ship back around. This is a part where the dog basically says, "Fuck you jumping off the ship and starts drowning. You're rescued and coincidentally have found your way onto Dog Island. And after meeting Dr. Poden, you're told that there is a lot of work to be done. This is the part where the actual game starts, leading you into a field where you have to avoid wild animals and sniffer items. I don't know why these bears were so terrifying to me when they look really stupid as an adult. Also, this is where I decided to stop playing as a child because after everything that has happened so far, with the foreboding knowledge that there's a little sick puppy in need of saving, I became way too stressed out and never played it again. Until now. I recently picked the game back up with my best friend, and apologies for the crispy footage. This is our actual save file on a real PS2, and oh my god. I feel so bad that I never got that far in the game. There's so much content that I missed out on as a child that I would have been so ecstatic about. The game has a whole Animal Crossing like collection system where you can collect bugs, fish, flowers, and the map is way bigger and has more variation than I thought. By the way, just to highlight how weird and dramatic this game is, one of the sub-stories, there is a nurse puppy who is afraid of blood, and later we find out that she has this fear because when she was little she pushed her friend over and attacked her and she bled so much that she thought she died. Later on we proved that she's still alive, but this game is so dramatic. Without making this segment any longer than it needs to be, I definitely recommend playing this game if you never got that far as a kid or are looking for a cozy time sink to play. Maybe sometime I can talk more in depth about my love for this game, but for now it's definitely one of the most infamously depressing kids games that I've ever had as a child, and I love the mutual understanding that comes every time I talk about this game with anyone else who has played it at such a young age. Okay, so I have a confession to make. I know I said that I'd split this video into 2 parts, but I'm just now realizing that I should probably make the second part its own video because I've spent so much time on this and I need a break. I'm just now realizing there is a common theme where I lie at the end of my videos, but I guess that's okay. Thank you for listening to my rant. I really appreciate it, like genuinely. So I guess I'll be smelling you later.